Hello there. I wanted to talk about Heroes of Might and Magic game series today. It's one of my all-time favorite game series. In the most recent games of the series, it's called Might and Magic Heroes for some reason. Just like they swapped the position like in Total War game series. The early titles were like Rome Total War and Medieval 2 Total War, but nowadays they are Total War Warhammer or Total War Rome 2. I have no idea why they did that, but they did, so here we are. So I wanted to talk about my how I see each and every game of the series I have played. Now I have to admit that I have never played Heroes of Might and Magic 1 or 6. 1 I'm not even sure I want to play because, I mean, when you talk about the game series that started out, I think it was in the 90s. I'm not sure if the first game was even in the 80s or something, but I haven't checked the exact dates for the games for this, which I honestly should do. Just a moment. So, Heroes of Might and Magic came out in 1995, September 1995. So I was 4 years old when the first one came out. Well, that's cute. Anyway, so I have never played that, and I have never played the 6th one that came out in 2011. Okay, so we'll start going them over in the order of how I like them, the ones I played. So we will be starting out with Heroes of Might and Magic 5. They did that weird 3D thing in the town view, like when I go. What I have here on screen is Might and Magic Heroes 7. So it's the 2D view, and in the 5th one you had to like rotate it using the mouse, but here you can't do that. It's just a 2D view, which is, in my opinion, which is so much better. And I never got past the clunkiness of the 3D thing, and I just never gave the game an honest shot after that. Then the gameplay, other than the view, it felt clunky, to be honest. Clunkier than any of the other games in the series I have played. Like, the battles felt just off. They didn't feel like Heroes of Might and Magic battles. And the same thing is a problem in Heroes of Might and Magic 4 as well. But we'll go over that in a bit. So, Heroes of Might and Magic 5 is not a game I can recommend for anyone. It's just a failure. And if I'm not mistaken, the downward spiral started with the 5th one, and it really didn't go too smoothly after that. It was also the first game not made by New World Computing, which also says something, because all the classic ones that are generally beloved were made by New World Computing. So I would personally give Heroes of Might and Magic 5 1 out of 5. It's not worth your time. Then, moving onward to the second least favorite game in the series is Heroes of Might and Magic 4. So, it felt a lot like Heroes of Might and Magic 2, but there was this one thing that off-put a lot of people, and it was basically the fact that your heroes were not just commanders on the edge of the battlefield. No, they were units, parts of the army, and they leveled up like a role-playing game characters. And as Heroes of Might and Magic is predominantly a strategy series, that didn't sit well with a lot of the fans of the series. So it just ended up getting a lot of hate. Now, I personally think it was better than its reputation, but it still left a lot to hope for. And it had one problem Heroes 2 had, and that was you needed mines to complement your income if you wanted to recruit every single unit at your disposal. That was a huge problem for me personally, because I never liked contesting mines. I preferred playing the game like controlling towns and garrisons and win through that. And it simply didn't work. It was an experiment by New World Computing, and it was a minor flop in my opinion. And the fourth one, I don't actually know what happened to New World Computing after that, but I think it's safe to say that yeah, it got defunct right after the fourth one. So I don't know, this is pure speculation, but the fourth one may have been the last drop for the dissolution of New World Computing, and ended with 3DO selling the rights to the Heroes of Might and Magic franchise to Ubisoft. I personally enjoyed some good times with the fourth game, but as I said, the role-playing aspect and the financial instability were problematic at times, and that makes me give Heroes of Might and Magic 4 the grade of 3 out of 5. It's okay, but for a very specific type of audience. Then we are entering the classic, the best known game of the series, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. The first one I ever played back in 2002 when I was 11 years old. That's one of the first games I really played, and it's probably one of the two main titles that started shaping me into the gamer I am today. So I absolutely love the game. I love it to pieces. And it's simply a work of art. However, compared to some of the later games, the leveling and skilling feels a bit clunky, and factions limit a lot, but that has been a problem with the series. Problem, feature, however you like to phrase it, and it's something that has existed since the beginning of the series. And I mean, I like to mix my armies, and it takes effort, a very specific type of character, hero, and I'm still trying to figure out which one suits me the best. I mean, you need first of all, you need leadership and diplomacy skills. They are a bit different here than they used to be, but even back in the day, you still needed both of these skills if you wanted to pull off a cross-factional army. It was never easy. So, and finding a character that sits right with you, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and even more so in the third one. But I have to say, in the 5th grade, I actually wrote a fanfic for school on Erathia. So it was rich with lore, and in a way that the later games, I don't feel they have been as rich with lore. So I think in a way Heroes of Might and Magic was in certain ways the best, but not quite the best in many others. But it's a really close contest between the last 3 titles, because I'm giving them 4 out of 5 for each of them. They are spectacular games, each and every one of them, and I love each and every one of them to pieces. However, Heroes 3 has not been able to keep my interest of late. I have much more preferred the other games in this franchise, Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and Might and Magic Heroes 7. Those have been my go-to Heroes games for the last, 7 years. So, but if you are a player that is new to Heroes franchise, I would highly recommend you start with Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It has a lot of lore, it's easy to jump in, and it even has a little high score thingy every time you finish a scenario. If you did well, you get the score in the high scores, and that can motivate players to keep hacking at it. And that was something I really loved. But sharing computer with my father and my brother, who were much better at these types of games than I was, I barely ever got to see my name on the list. Then moving on to Might and Magic Heroes 7. It's the one I play the most. I have to admit that. It has these things called zones of control. So, while an enemy can march in to these zones of control without taking the town, they can only plunder your mines. They simply cannot take them over like they used to in the older games. That's one feature I really love. And sometimes when I've made my own maps with the map tool, I've done like a randomized map and placed strong garrisons between each and every region, and that is something I absolutely love personally. Customizability, I love how the skill trees are done, even if you no longer have the ability to pick your skills on the fly. Back in the days of Heroes 3, for instance, you had only like 2 starting skills, and then as you leveled up you could pick the rest of the skills as you went. But these skills have like sub abilities to them, and I do love how they're done. But for instance, I don't really care for the war cries. I never use them, so it kinda takes room out of it if I play a not so magic based character. Oh, this place has a magic menagerie. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to focus on this, but yeah. So, Might and Magic Heroes 7 is a solid 4 out of 5. I'm tempted to give it a full 5 out of 5, but like it's so forced that each and every hero can only gain specific skills, and that the number of factions available is lower than most other games of the series. So those are clearly the drawbacks, and I personally believe that this game would have had a lot more potential. Now, people say it's shit. I've heard a lot of people say that, and I just don't agree with it. I just don't. I think it's a wonderful game, and if you disagree with me, that's your prerogative, but I still think you're wrong. Then moving on to Heroes of Might and Magic 2. My absolute favorite game in the series. And I mean, it's so hard for me to even talk about the game. It has this cartoony vibe I really love, and other than that, it's a lot like Heroes 3. It has financial issues. I find it hard to be able to afford all the troops without possessing at least one gold mine. Then, other than that, I don't know. I feel like I should not have started doing a battle while I was talking about this. So, Heroes 2 had different type of factions compared to others. It's like Sorceress was something that hasn't been seen since that game. I mean, sure, Ramparts and Sylvan turned out to draw inspiration from Sorceress, but it's not Sorceress really. Sorceress was special. It was a lot more versatile, and that was true for some other factions as well. Well, not the one that became Castle and Haven. It was called Knight back in the day, and it was simply beautiful. I mean, it laid the foundation for pretty much everything that's been seen in the series since, except for the zones of control, which was something entirely new. But to be honest, I don't know how much of it is based on Heroes 1, Heroes of Might and Magic, a strategic quest. And I really have no idea. And okay, now I'm just blathering on. Anyway, so to recap everything I've said so far, Heroes 5 is garbage, Heroes 4 is an acquired taste, Heroes 2, 3 and 7 are absolutely magnificent but not without their faults. And I recommend playing each and every one of those. Now, while you should probably start with third one, second one is also a good starting point. I find that then improved gameplay features in the seventh one that are probably present in the sixth one as well, but again, I can't guarantee this. Might take some enjoyment from the earlier games if you end up playing a newer Might and Magic Heroes game first. Anyway, that's me on Heroes of Might and Magic, or Might and Magic Heroes, whichever you prefer, and I'll see you guys in my streams on next week. Bye bye.